Hello and welcome to the News Center. Today it seems Americans across the country are overly concerned about their unsecured credit card debt. There are many solutions for credit card debt relief, some naturally better than others. So let's get to the bottom line of what have become the preferred solutions for debt relief. Joining us today with the details is leading expert and solution provider Scott Johnson. Scott, welcome.
Oh, Mike, thanks for having me here today.
So Scott, tell us, what exactly do you do?
Mike, what we do is we get families out of debt in a short period of time. We reach out to families across the United States that are 20, 30, 40, 70, 80, $100,000 in debt. We put a program together that's specifically designed for them, get them a monthly payment that they can afford, and put them on track to be debt-free in less than 3 years.
So Scott, how do I choose a debt settlement company?
I think the easiest way to start is using the tools that you probably already have. I would go out to the internet and use a search engine and just do some research to see if this company has complaints. But more importantly, you want to find the good ones. The good company is going to be around for a long period of time. These companies have established themselves 3, 4, 5, maybe even longer as far as having, the proper management team in place to be able to give the guidance that you're going to need to be able to have the highest level of success in any type of debt settlement program.
How do I qualify for debt settlement?
In order to get started, the best thing to do is pick up the phone. And when you pick up the phone, make sure you have some of your information on hand. Who the creditors you owe, how much you owe to them, what are the interest rates, and to have some of your just basic information on, how much money do you take home and what are the bills look like in your household? What are you paying for electricity, for phone service, mortgage or rent?
Now, Scott, I've heard about the difference between secured debt and unsecured debt, but I don't think I fully understand it. Could you explain that?
Well, secured debt is relatively easy. Those are things like your automobile, your home, sometimes purchases like recreational vehicles. Now, the unsecured debt is things that you've put on your Visa card or your MasterCard, or if you've taken out a personal loan, something that doesn't have an asset attached to it.
How long will it take to settle my debts?
Settlements can happen sometimes as quick as 90 days, depending on who your creditor is and how much you owe. But a typical first settlement will happen somewhere between 90 days and the first 6 months you're enrolled in a program. That way you see results right away.
Scott, tell me about the fee structure. How does that work?
Well, the fee structures are designed for a consumer, and it's based on several different elements. One, depends on who you owe and how much you owe. So depending on what your creditors look like, the fee structure can vary. But most importantly, the fee structure is designed to put you in a budget that you can afford on a month-to-month basis so that you can graduate in 36 months or less.
Now, can my creditors still contact me if I'm in a program?
Your creditors still can contact you, and they'll try to make several attempts, more than likely, to be able to try to reclaim that 30% interest that they've been charging you. But most companies have systems and policies and procedures in place to at least manage any of those calls that you receive.
What about my credit? Is that affected?
Mike, that's a question I get all the time, and it's a great question because it's this belief that that we have to hold on to our credit score. And I ask people a simple question: do you want an 800 credit score, be broke for the rest of your life, or do you want to sit there and be able to live in a cash position that you can do things for your family, like go on vacation, plan for retirement, send your kids to college?
Well, now how does your program of debt settlement compare to debt consolidation and consumer credit counseling?
Look, when you look at debt settlement, credit counseling, we're looking at, the variation between the two different times. In debt settlement, you're looking at a 3-year program. Credit counseling, you're looking at a 5 to 7-year program. When you're looking at the costs associated with a debt settlement program, you're looking at probably about making 50% of the payments you're making today. Credit counseling, you're going to be making payments that are similar to what you're doing already, maybe even a little more. And then the impact. Yes, it will have an effect on your credit score while you're in the program, but the impact is that you start living a debt-free life sooner.
Now, Scott, what about bankruptcy as an option?
Mike, I think everybody ought to look at bankruptcy as the last possible option for them. This is something that can literally follow you for the rest of your life. Yes, it can stay on your credit report for up to 10 years, but it also can affect any employment. And we're looking at what possibly can happen in the future. The last thing you want to land is the job of your dreams. To find out that bankruptcy is going to avoid you from getting that job.
Scott, this all sounds great, but gosh, there's so much information out there. I mean, is this a scam?
Well, Mike, let's break down the parts of trying to get people out of debt and back to, a debt-free living. Offering education, counseling, resources to get people out of debt. Is that a scam? To be able to take somebody that is unable to make their monthly payments and have them debt-free in 36 months, is that a scam? The harassment that consumers receive on an ongoing basis that we read out in the newspaper, to have somebody as an advocate that stands in the middle between them and the creditors, I don't know. These are all common sense things that people need to have a debt-free living and the education. So, is that a scam?
Hey, Scott, thanks a lot for joining us.
Hey, Mike, it was my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
To learn more about Accredited Financial Corporation and how they are helping consumers across the country with their debt relief, call 877-210-3328 or visit their website, www.afcprocessing.com. That's 877-210-3328.